feel free to fire away.
Well, Coach, obviously a different dynamic for you working with John Cohen. What's it been like since you guys have been reconnected?
Well, it's been great. Yeah, easy, and had a really good idea what to expect, and 3 days of practice so far. It's gone really well.
How much is he different maybe from when you worked with him at Kentucky?
Well, I think, I think the same basic person is, still there, but, you change a little bit from your late 30s, as we all have, or you guys all will, to your late 40s, early 50s, whatever it may be. And so, same basic guy, work ethics intact, intelligence, insight, awareness, all those things are still intact, and the same basic person.
Speaking of that, how have you changed with your experience now as a head coach, especially in this league?
Well, I think it makes you a better coach. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And anybody that's been head coach that goes back to being assistant coach is pretty much aware of the things that you weren't previously aware of. And it makes you better, and you can head things off, and you know where the priorities need to be or the issues could be that you could take a hand and solve them before they get to be something that the head guy's got to deal with. And so I think it helps you a lot.
You mentioned 3 days of practice. What have been your observations of your pitching staff so far?
Well, they're all positive. We play catch now, and so they're as good as they should be at playing catch, But it's a really good group of kids. They're really polite, hard-working so far. It's been really good to be a part of that. They're enjoyable. Don't know them real well yet, but I'll get to know them quickly.
The players on this staff, did you recruit any of them at Kentucky yourself? Did you try to sign them up there before they signed at Mississippi State?
Just thinking through, no. I don't think they have anybody on staff, but that's not unusual. We didn't go against the southern part of the league much.
Is there any challenges especially with these young guys, the freshmen and things? I mean, you'll be the third pitching coach that some of them have had within a year's time, really. Is there any challenges to that?
Less time than that.
Yeah.
I think there's always a challenge when there's change for kids. And, there's going to be, no matter how similar or dissimilar you are to the previous coach, there's going to be some adjustments, whether it's terminology or points of emphasis or things that you stress, all those things that come up. So, yeah, there'll be some challenges, but I don't think there's anything that's insurmountable, and certainly we haven't run into anything now. And, baseball kids are used to having different guys. They go off, they have summer coaches. Some of them play for more than one team in the summer and in the course. So when you look at it that way, some of these guys will have had four pitching coaches. So they'll be able to adapt. And I'm at a spot now and have enough experience. I'm going to be able to figure out what that kid needs probably relatively quickly.
How would you describe your coaching philosophy?
Well, in terms of pitching, you're really going to want to establish a staff and a culture of guys that really want to attack the bottom of the strike zone, and from that terms of that philosophy, from in terms of how you deal with young men, you want to try and treat everybody as an individual. You don't want to be a cookie cutter. I don't want to be or have a cookie cutter approach to developing pitchers. I don't think that's the most effective way of going about it. You need to have some principles that you stand by or a foundation to stand upon in terms of what you're trying to achieve in the relationship and as a pitcher, and so moving forward from that, it's honesty, being direct, try to be as thorough as you can, and let the kid be who he is as an athlete.
Coach, there was talk after you left Kentucky you might take a year off. What motivated you to take this job, and why was this the right fit for you?
Well, I certainly had thought about doing that, but just John calling. And certainly, when I resigned, I certainly didn't expect John to call me in 3 weeks. But nothing more than that. That's simple.
Most coaches, head coaches and top assistants like this walk into situations where maybe it's a rebuild job or something new. But what's it like stepping into a program now that's pretty well on its feet now and established?
Well, it's good. I've been able to do both throughout my career. One's better than the other. We've got to find 2 new starting pitchers on the weekend and probably a new guy on the midweek. But there's some guys that were in the program last year that would appear to be great candidates, very solid candidates to step forward and earn those spots. And so from that standpoint, it's exciting.
Is there anything that you've learned about this program since you've been here that maybe you didn't see as an outside observer?
Well, in all fairness, I mean, I've been around the kids for 3 days, you know, I spent a lot of the summer on the road, and so I'm sure there'll be a lot of things. You know, I've been in the league, I think this will be my 18th year, you know, so it's not like I was unfamiliar with Mississippi State. I think it's been a little bit more of just being reassured of the things you already knew. You know, baseball's really important here. The facilities are outstanding, second to none. The commitment to having a top-flight program from Scott Strickland down is very evident, and there's a real passion for baseball in our state.
You go from a stadium where obviously offense is a little bit easier up there, especially the wind's blowing the right field, things like that. What's it like now that you get to coach pitchers in a field that's not friendly to home runs?
Well, so far that's been a conversation, and to really answer it, I think we'll have to talk sometime next April or May. You know, to really know how it's affected what I want to do and how I go about, you know, that part of the game. But certainly it's a much different field, much different.
You mentioned looking, you know, for new starters on the weekend. How much have you gone back and studied the guys, and what have you seen about the arms you have coming back?
I haven't studied them very much. Yesterday is the first day I looked at anything. We've got a new video coordinator in and had him pop up all the returners and watched about 3 or 4 pitches from each guy. After watching him play catch for 2 days at that point. That's the extent of it. You know, and I wasn't really interested in clouding my judgment with anything too much that had happened in the past. I haven't studied the stats, certainly have looked at them. But we've got a group of guys that are at a really good time for them because they've got an opportunity to go out and earn something. It's not like you have 3 returning starters on the weekend. You know, there's some jobs to be earned. You know, 3 out of those 4 starting spots early in the year, 4 out of the 5, you know, are to be earned in terms of the starting spot. And then obviously there's a foundation there that would appear to have a pretty good beginning or foundation for a bullpen, you know, with the kids that are back. So we'll see where it goes. But I haven't done a lot of study or film work or anything like that.
You talked about not going head-to-head on a lot of recruiting. Now, will you be recruiting different areas than you did before?
Sure. Yeah. I think, I mean, that's not really unusual. You know, if you're a northern school, you're just not going to spend a lot of time in our league down south. It doesn't make sense for the kids, for the most part. Now, if there's a tie there, you know, with any of the kids, if there's a tie, a grandfather, parents, brother, sister, something like that, then maybe it makes some sense. But for the most part, in college athletics, kids are going to go to school near you know, their families.
Have you already gone out and gotten busy with the recruiting for the future seasons?
Yeah, I did. Spent the summer doing that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that didn't stop. And that part's full speed ahead.
What was the response you got?
Well, it's great. Yeah, there's no shortage of kids that want to be a part of this, you know, at all. There's no shortage of kids that want to be a part of our conference. There's no shortage of kids that want to be a part of Mississippi State. That part was really nice to be a part of.
What was it like coming here as an opposing coach?
Well, it changed through the years. You know, I was here in '97. I'd have to go back and look at all the years, you know, but it changed, you know, from playing, you know, '97 obviously is the World Series team that they had here, you know, yeah, you know, and was here early in the year on a couple of occasions where the stands weren't exactly full. Was here obviously the last season or the last weekend of 12 when it was full. Been here for Super Bulldog weekend, so I kind of seen the wide variety of the spectrum of, you know, of what the stands look like and what the fans are. It's exciting for your kids to come here, not unlike several places in our league. But it's a great opportunity for your kids to get to come and play against, you know, a team like this in a setting like this.